Let's go. What is up, everybody? Today we're going to be reacting to strangest last meal request on death row. Now I'm kind of interested to see like what meals that they get.
That they probably get a meal for themselves for like 5 families.
Yeah, I've like seen like people on death row get like a 10-course meal, and then some get like a bean just to like get it over with. But before we get right into it, make sure you hit the subscribe button and really help the channel out. And let's get right into it.
In some states in America and other countries with legal capital punishment, there exists an interesting custom for criminals on death row. The infamous last meal. Convicted felons are granted the opportunity to select any food and drink of their choice within certain regulations on the eve of their execution. Here are some of the strangest meals ever recorded. Number 20. Victor Harry Fagger. In 1963, 28-year-old Victor Harry Fagger was sentenced to death by hanging for convicted kidnap murder. For his final meal, the young man had only one request: a single olive with the...
I knew it, bro. It's gonna be like something so small, bro. A single olive. I hate olives. Like those are like one of my worst foods to eat. I like black olives though, but olives.
I mean, you just wanted to be in the grave.
pit left in. After his execution, the olive pit was found inside Fagger's suit pocket, contributing to the popular belief that he intended to be buried alongside it so that the olive tree symbolizing peace would sprout from his grave. For a dangerous criminal,
smart.
it's almost a touching sentiment. Number 19. Gerald Lee Mitchell. Jared Lee Mitchell's final meal was even sweeter than Fagger's, but in an entirely different sense. As he awaited his final moments on death row, Mitchell had only one thing on his mind when it came to his final meal: an assorted bag of Jolly Ranchers candy. After
Jolly Rancher sales after that was probably skyrocketing.
I hate Jolly Ranchers too. I hate those both. But I don't know how they can eat like how can you eat Jolly Ranchers knowing he can die like just right after? Me personally, like what I would get on death row, if I was ever on death row, I would get like honestly everything, just like everything, like foods I haven't tried, maybe, and like just like honestly everything.
finishing the entire bag before facing the final curtain, it's safe to say this criminal intended to go out on a real sugar high. Number 18. Lawrence Russell Brewer. While some have a clear idea of the last thing they'll ever eat, others are totally spoiled for choice. Taking full advantage of this unusual opportunity, convicted killer and white supremacist Lawrence Russell Brewer decided to indulge in an enormous feast in 2011. He requested 2 fried chicken steaks with gravy and onion, a triple bacon cheeseburger, a cheese omelet with ground beef, tomatoes, onions, bell peppers, and jalapenos, 3 fajitas, a meat feast pizza, a bowl of fried okra, a pound of barbecued meat with half a loaf of white bread, peanut butter fudge with crushed peanuts, and a pint of Bluebell ice cream, all washed down with 3 root beers.
Oh, that's a solid last meal. That's solid. I rate that 10 out of 10.
What with the root beers?
Yeah. I don't know about the fudge though, but everything else, oof, looks good. Looks real. I mean, he has a ton of food. No way he like finished that all like within like a day.
In a final screw you to the justice system, though, Brewer refused to eat a morsel when the order arrived, claiming that he wasn't hungry. Texas Senator John Whitmire was so furious that he decided to ban the last meal request in the state, so future death row prisoners have Lawrence Russell Brewer to blame for regular prison slop. Number 17. John Wayne Gacy. Another felon who capitalized on his last meal request was the notorious serial killer John Wayne Gacy, otherwise known as the Killer Clown Pogo. For his final supper, Gacy ordered 12 fried shrimp, a bucket of original recipe KFC, french fries, and a pound of strawberries. Prior to his conviction, Gacy had managed 3 KFC restaurants in his home city of Waterloo, and he clearly never got tired of that finger-licking goodness. Number 16. John Spinkalink. For some, food isn't the priority at all when it comes down to making a last order. Previously known as a heavy drinker, Spinkalink denied any special food to be prepared, but asked for a single flask of Jack Daniels instead, which he shared with the prison superintendent. After his death, the state of Florida's last meal provisions was...
That prisons, that'd be actually... what would you even like...
He just shared it with a superintendent.
He's like, I'm about to be gone in like a few hours. Cheers.
Revised to exclude alcohol altogether, but to be honest, going out while drunk doesn't seem like such a bad idea. Number 15. Eileen Wuornos. Eileen Wuornos also requested a beverage before taking her last breath in 2002, but of a different kind. A single cup of black coffee was all she wanted. It may seem like this request was her way of saying, don't even think about killing me before I've had my morning coffee, but Wuornos actually had far crazier motivations. In fact, she didn't believe she was going anywhere for long, as her notorious last words were, I'd just like to say I'm sailing with the Rock, and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus June 6th. It's safe to say she still hasn't turned up yet. Number 14. Ricky Ray Rector.
Ricky Ray Rector seemed to have similar motivations when it came to his last meal.
Rector had ordered a tasty-sounding meal consisting of steak, fried chicken, and cherry Kool-Aid, followed by a slice of pecan pie. But he left his dessert untouched. When asked why he changed his mind on the sweet treat, Rector simply said he was saving it for later. Whether this was intended as an ironic joke or a sinister hint that his return in the afterlife was imminent is entirely up to you. Number 13. Timothy McVeigh.
What this senseless killer ordered as his last hurrah might surprise you, given the seriousness of his crimes.
All McVeigh wanted to eat before his execution in 2001 was 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream. That would sound...
Can't go wrong with the mint chocolate.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, so some of these are like, they're alright. Like, the one with like the big meals, I kind of like. But the ones with like these sweet ones are like, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you like it, you'll get it, but I don't know.
Clear whether one remained chilled as he guzzled down the first or simply melted into a puddle beside it. To be honest, for a man responsible for 168 innocent deaths, even melted ice cream seems far too generous. Number 12. David Leon Woods. Convicted murderer David Leon Woods spent a whopping 22 years on death row before he was put to death on May 4, 2007 in Michigan, Indiana. When the daunting moment finally came, Woods had a fairly simple request for his last meal. He chose a standard pizza and an entire birthday cake, both of which he shared with his family.
As it turns out, his birthday was actually 3 months after his execution, but hey, beggars can't be choosers.
Number 11. Thomas J. Grasso. Thomas J. Grasso was not the brightest of the bunch, and when Judgment Day came in 1995, his final meal request reflected his questionable life choices. He ordered a plethora of extravagant foods like 24 steamed clams, half a dozen barbecued ribs, a Burger King double cheeseburger, and 2 strawberry milkshakes, alongside a can of SpaghettiOs to be served at room temperature. When Grasso's meal arrived,
Them SpaghettiOs probably like cleared his. He's like, these SpaghettiOs gonna bring me back.
This is also a valid meal. I like this, for sure. I don't know about the clams. I've never had those, but I also like to try them.
He was served spaghetti and meatballs instead, a mistake he'd never forgive, as his final words were, I did not get my SpaghettiOs. I got spaghetti. I want the press to know this. Number 10. Stephen Wayne Anderson. Grasso isn't the only one to throw a seemingly random ingredient into the mix when concocting the perfect final meal. Stephen Wayne Anderson was a pretty deadly criminal, but his food choices were interesting to say the least. Before his execution in California in 2002, the 48-year-old requested 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, a pint of cottage cheese, a hominy corn mixture, peach pie and chocolate chip ice cream, and, well, a big helping of radishes on the side. Number 9. Peter J. Minial. Convicted killer Peter J. Minial could give Lawrence Russell Brewer a run for his money for one of the biggest orders ever served on death row in 2004. Minial confessed to his crimes and was vocal about being ready to pay the price, but not before he gorged himself on this whopping order. He requested 20 beef tacos, 20 beef enchiladas, 2 double cheeseburgers, a pizza with jalapenos, fried chicken, spaghetti with salt, and a modest dessert of half a chocolate cake, half a vanilla cake, cookies and cream ice cream, caramel pecan fudge ice cream, and a small fruit cake. To wash it all down, he also had 2 lots of Coke, Pepsi, root beer, and orange juice.
Oh, come on. Those drinks are so bad. Like, Coke, no. Pepsi, no. Root beer can stay. Orange juice, sure. But, yeah, those first 2 gotta go. No way he ordered 20 of those tacos.
He got half.
I wonder how long it takes him to finish all this food.
Hey, at least he sped up his time by 5 hours.
I mean, Oh, it looks so good.
Maybe he intended to explode Henry VIII style before facing the music. Number 8. Velma Barfield. This sweet, God-fearing grandmother became known as the Death Row Granny. Velma Barfield was the first woman put to death in the U.S. in 22 years when she was executed by lethal injection in 1982. But not before she was granted one final meal. A cup of tea, a slice of coffee cake, or a fruit scone might be what you'd expect. But all Barfield really wanted was a packet of cheese doodles and a can of Coke. But for a devout...
Dude, I seriously don't know how people can do that. Like, just order those basic...
At least they went out with a bang.
I don't know how they can order those basic, like, things. Like,
Christian
snacks.
old lady who also killed 6 people. What can you really expect? Number 7. Robert Alton Harris. When you're ordering your final meal on death row, it's important to cover all bases. And why agonize over which takeaway to get when you can combine the lot? This is exactly what murderer Robert Alton Harris did in 1992 when he requested a 21-piece bucket of KFC and 2 large Domino's pizzas alongside a 6-pack of Pepsi with ice cream and a bag of jelly beans for dessert.
Jelly
And a
beans.
packet of Camel cigarettes for good measure. Harris
That's not bad. That's not bad.
The jelly beans just make him immortal.
is most remembered for his final words, though,
Goosebumps
which
off the
were,
grave.
"You can be a king or a street sweeper, but everybody dances with the Grim Reaper." Kind of prophetic for a seasoned criminal, don't you think? Number 6. Ronnie Lee Gardner. Plenty of death row criminals have used their final meal as an opportunity to make smart choices, and Ronnie Lee Gardner was certainly determined to make his sitting last as long as possible. He didn't go too overboard on his order of steak, lobster tail, apple pie with vanilla ice cream, and a 7-Up, but he also had another request: to watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy while eating. Surprisingly, Gardner was permitted to do so, and with a combined runtime of more than 11 hours, this must have been the longest last meal ever. Number 5.
Dude,
Philip
that's
Workman.
actually
Gluttony
nice.
was the last thing on
That's smart.
Phillips's mind when he requested his final meal. His final request was for a large vegetarian pizza to be given to a random homeless person. But prison officials refused to do so, and he ate nothing. In a surprising turnout, on the day of his death on May 9th, homeless shelters in Tennessee received large amounts of vegetarian pizzas from people all over the country. So at least he did one good deed before his death. Number 4.
Yeah.
Angel Nieves Diaz. Philip Workman may have gone hungry because of his strangely selfless request, but Angel Nieves Diaz deliberately turned down his last meal. As he didn't order anything special, Diaz was served the regular Wednesday prison menu of shredded turkey with taco seasoning, cheese, rice, pinto beans, tortilla shells, apple crisp, and ice cream. As surprisingly nice as that sounds, Diaz refused to eat that too, and in his final words he condemned the death penalty as a form of vengeance, but also a cowardly act by humans. Number 3. Oba Chandler. For his last meal, he ordered 2 salami sandwiches on white bread with mustard and peanut butter, and a grape jelly sandwich on
salami
white bread
sandwiches
with
are
iced tea and a
valid.
coffee. And with all that bread, it's safe to say, another one bites the crust.
Another one bites the crust.
That was an okay one.
The salami sandwiches are valid.
Yeah. Well, the last comment, like, on the last guy, like, say it's like a cowardly act of, like, mankind to, like, do the death row thing. Honestly, I think, like, death row should be, like, it should 100% be, like, a thing, for sure. Like, honestly, like, if you kill someone, like, you should get, like, karma back for that. But, like, I don't know, like, what, like, how many, like, counts as death row. I'm not too sure. But, yeah, I 100% think, like, death row should be, like, a thing.
Ba-dum-ts. Short link on screen and in the description if you feel the need to expose the world to more crummy puns. Number 2. Robert Dale Conklin. Conklin clearly had expensive taste as he requested filet mignon wrapped in bacon, deveined shrimp sauteed in garlic butter with lemon, baked potato with sour cream, chives, and real bacon bits, corn on the cob, asparagus with hollandaise sauce, French bread with butter, goat cheese, cantaloupe, vanilla bean ice cream, and iced tea.
I like this. 100%. 10 out of 10. I like that. That's such a good meal.
The first 3 requests were good.
I don't like the potato. I hate baked potatoes. They're terrible. Corn on the cob's nice, especially fried corn on the cob. The asparagus, I think. The bread, sweet tea, love that. I think what's the bottom left one? Is that tofu or
That's goat cheese.
good cheese? Yeah, it's all pretty good. 10 out of
Number
10.
1. James Edward Smith. This convicted felon had one of the most bizarre last meal requests ever recorded.
When it came down to his final meal request in
Let's see.
1990, all he wanted was a lump of soil.
Although some have speculated that he did indeed intend to chow down on the dirt, others have suggested he planned to perform a voodoo ritual, as the soil was specified to be the Rakunda type, associated with witchcraft. As dirt was not on the list of foods permitted by prison regulations, Smith's request was denied and he was served a cup of yogurt instead. Which of course is the only reason.
Imagine he got the ritual. Just comes back from the dead.
I mean, that was his only shot, probably, to like not get there. But
He probably spent like his whole time in prison learning voodoo.
yeah, a cup of yogurt. That's actually depressing.
Reasonable alternative. So, what would you
Yeah, I like some of those meals. Like the olive one, that was pretty funny. That was just you just like want to get it over with and stuff like
You
that.
want a tree to grow in your place, which would probably be like.
Yeah, I mean that's well, first you need to water it to do that, I think. But
Who would water it?
I don't know, you can pee on himself. Maybe that would work. But like yeah, I would definitely get like a huge meal. I wouldn't get anything small. Like I would get like honestly like the 20 tacos. That was probably the best one for sure. Just a lot of food. But that is it for today. If you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed our reaction, please leave a subscribe. And if you have any other videos you would like us to react to, leave them in the comments down below. See ya.